The latest outlook for the primary sector is optimistic, despite the global disruptions to supply chains and trade. I'm joined by Agriculture Minister Damien O'Connor. So overall, looking out, export revenues over $50 billion in the year to end of June this year and continuing to rise and increase. I mean, you'd be pretty pleased with that then.
Yeah, I mean, 52 billion, that's another 2 billion on top of what we'd hope to achieve. That's no small change, really, when it comes to a nation like ours. And so it's been hard work, supply chain disruptions, the ability to shift stuff offshore. Ships haven't been arriving as frequently. And, of course, the cost to many in our primary sectors and across our whole economy, of course, the costs have gone up because of international oil prices and some of the fertiliser prices for farmers. So an outstanding achievement, and I guess it's what we can do if we set our minds to it, and indeed we can grow further as we grow the value and values of everything we produce in New Zealand.
Of course, it comes out a day after the report yesterday around how farmers should reduce emissions, that now the government now has to consider those recommendations. But I guess some farmers might be saying this shows how important they are to the economy and they shouldn't be pushed too hard.
Well, it shows both. They are important to our economy, but they also, have to lead the charge because they represent, over 65, 70% of what we produce offshore. Their goods and services represent New Zealand and our values in international markets. And a lot of those discerning markets are looking for action from individuals, from societies, from countries, economies, as to how we can reduce our impact on climate change. And, as sectors, or the sectors that are about 50% of our total emissions from livestock, then we've got to show that we're doing our bit. And that doesn't mean to say that we'll undermine our profitability or viability. It just means that we might have to adjust our production systems. We've done it in the past, and I'm confident that we can do it in the future and continue to grow the value of everything that we export.
And today's report also, though, does forecast falls in emissions.
It does, and I think there are technologies that are slowly being developed. Some of them, close to being available to farmers, or some are now. And as those roll out, as we put more money into R&D, as we collaborate across the globe to find ways to reduce biogenic methane from livestock, better pasture production, lower the input costs and therefore often the emissions into our food production systems, then we'll all be better off. And so, the report is very, very optimistic. And as a country that, has produced protein in an efficient way and will continue to do that, we're in a really good international spot. Doesn't guarantee success, but it certainly gives us a heads up on many other nations that are looking to export other goods and services.
In your statement, you make reference to the government's trade agenda and obviously point to the free trade agreement with the UK, the upgrade of the China free trade agreement, and references to progress on the European deal. So how close is a deal with the European Union?
Well, it's getting there. We're under active negotiation now as we speak, and we're hoping that we can get close to the point of agreement, if not total agreement, within the next month or two. So we're ambitious. We're putting a huge amount of effort into it. I'm travelling tomorrow to Europe, and probably we'll be back there to work through the final points of negotiation. We hope. But there's goodwill on both sides to progress this. They want to partner up with a country and an economy that has similar values and aspires to, high standards of animal welfare, high standards of labour and environmental protection, reduction of emissions. And they want to do this. We've had really strong and enduring relationships with many of those EU member states, and they want to formalise it. Of course, it's going to come down to some hard argy-bargy at the end of the day, but we hopefully will get an agreement with, close to 500 million people that will provide us with incredible opportunities into the future.
And if that happens, do you think that'll give greater, support to the positive nature of this report about future export earnings from the primary sector?
Look, absolutely. I think all the markets, China included, are aspiring to better environmental outcomes, better health outcomes for their people, and the Europeans and the US and the UK in particular. And so if we keep producing, the safest food, the highest levels of nutrition that we can possibly get to, and security of supply, then we'll be the trusted partner that all of those customers want with New Zealand and our exporters. And, it's an exciting future for us. We've just got to make sure we get everything right, that we do make the adjustments we need in terms of environmental management, water quality, animal welfare, and emissions reduction. If we get all those things right, and I know we can, we will be the best country for the world, producing the best protein for the world as well. And that's something we should all be proud of, just as we're proud of the outcome from this SOPI report now.
Damien O'Connor, thank you for your time.
Kia ora. Thank you, Brent.